my window, sweet seducing sighs get me out into the nighttime. Four walls won't hold me tonight. If this town is just an apple, then let me take a bite.
So let me just say, I know there's so much controversy out there about the Michael Jackson leaving Neverland thing, and I generally believe that the two accusers, although I still do like Michael Jackson's music, I can't really help myself on that one, but I find the leaving Neverland thing convincing, and I find a lot of the stuff that's in opposition to it just people like desperate to like defend Michael Jackson's quote unquote name. But the thing is you can still like Michael Jackson and admit that there's definitely a lot of smoke there. Anyway, welcome to the Short Vol Show Live. We are coming out of the weekend. We do have a little bit of a pop in volatility coming into today here. If we look, it's not just weekend effect. There is actually the E-minis are down 4 right now. NASDAQ down 14. Not a whole lot going on. We see the VIX right now, 1349. However, we are in a steep contango over 8%. If we pull up VIX Central here, we can see where we are with contango. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the recent video with Jay Wahlberg. And if you haven't done so, check that one out. This guy, he has an automated VIX trading system. And what it does is, based on indicators that he has, it will tell you at the end of each trading day to either buy SVXY or VXX, or if you're long one of them, to sell it back out again. And so what you do is you set up an account and it automatically trades these things for you. So you essentially put money in this account and it trades in and out of VXX and SVXY based on the formula. And it's had really good results in the past as far as percentage that the money's up. I think he was citing something like it's been like up 80% a year or something insanely good like that. So check out tradingvolatility.net and Jay's site. But you can look at that video for more information on that. I wanted to mention also that I'm going to be doing some basic information on finance for people to get up to speed. I noticed that there are still a lot of people who have decided, well, I'm just not going to do the options part of finance. And there is still a lot of skepticism out there about whether stock options are a viable means of trading, and there's skepticism that somehow it's sort of a ripoff. And I think part of this comes from all the scandals to do with binary options. Now, binary options have turned out mostly to be a scam and also manipulated. I'm generally of the opinion that to predict what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes in the market it's very sort of random activity. What's going to happen in the next 5 minutes in the market, and that's a lot of what binary options are doing. We found that binary options became a thing, and then all of a sudden, all of these companies, actually, a lot of them in Israel, popped up and were scamming people. And when they put money into the binary options account, they would find ways of separating people from their money. And that's unfortunate. And I do have to put a disclaimer in here to say that this is not like an anti-Semitic thing that I'm saying. It just happened to be that Israel was where a bunch of these scammer companies were coming out of. And I think the Israeli government has actually banned binary options companies from operating within Israel's borders, which is obviously a good event. But binary options has really nothing to do with exchange-traded stock options. And like I said, there's a lot of people who maybe have their own niche in finance or have been incredibly successful trading that just kind of stay away from options. So for you, I just want to give a basic overview about what options are. Just on the very basics, and to show you an options screen. You might have seen it before, you might not have. So basically, options have to do with isolating different prices for a stock. So, for example, let's pull up a stock on the screen here. And I'm going to choose to pull up IBM here. And I am going to pull up a basic options screen. And what this options screen has, and I'm going to get out of the way here. Okay, so if you look at this screen over here, and maybe we can get rid of everything else except the options screen for a second here. Okay, so here it says options chain. And you see, going down the middle of the screen here, it says 12 April 19. It just keeps saying 12 April 19 over and over again. Okay, so what this is this is the date that these particular options expire, is going to be 12th of April. Okay, so they are going to expire very soon, but regardless of when you're seeing this video, it says that these options expire the 12th of April. And then just to the right of that, we have the strike price. Okay, strike price. This is the price that these particular options apply to. And in this case, it's almost every dollar there is a strike price, which is, I guess, becoming more common. It used to be like every $5 or something they would have a strike price. And actually, I'm going to pivot to maybe a simpler example here. So let's go to candy, okay? And once again, every dollar. Craziness. All right, anyway, so we'll stay here. So as we go down here, okay, so in the middle is when they expire, and then just to the right here is the strike price, okay? And in this particular case, the stock is worth $5.79 right now. And so these different strike prices apply to different prices that the stock could be at. So, so when you have a $5 strike, then the options associated with that $5 strike are either going to be where you would have an option to either buy the stock paying $5 or sell the stock paying $5. So, and there's two kind of options. There's calls and puts. And in this screen here, on the left side, we have markets for the call options. And on the right side, we have markets for the put option. So, for example, if we look at this, if we go to the 5 strike here, we can see on the left side, it says bid 95 cents, ask $1.15. So that means that for the call at the 5 strike, the market is 95-cent bid, offered at $1.15. And then on the right side, we have the markets for the puts options. And we're going to go through what those are in just a second. But just so you see, so the market in the put option is 25-cent bid at 35 cents. And we'll go over why these prices are here and what it means. So, all right. So once again, stock is $5.79 right now. Okay. So a call option is going to be it's going to give you the option of buying the stock for $5. So if you own a call option, that means that, so let's say you buy a call option. You have this in your account. You have one call option the May 5 calls. So that option is going to allow you, if you want, you don't have to, but if you want, you have the right to buy 100 shares of the stock, paying $5. Okay, so with the stock worth $5.79, this call is worth something because stock is over $5. So if you had an option to buy 100 shares for $5, then that's a good thing because you can buy the stock for $5 even though everybody else has to pay $5.79. So are you with me here so far? So wherever the stock goes to, you can always buy it for $5 if you have one of these call options. So it's a good deal right now because stock's $5.79. So you could buy the stock for $5 because you own the call, and then you could sell it for $5.79, thus making 79 cents right away. Now, if the stock was to go to $10, then this call would be worth even more. So if stock was $10, the 5 call would be very valuable because whereas everybody else has to pay $10 for the stock, you only have to pay $5. So let's say this stock went up to $8 today. So the 5 call, once again, would be valuable because you get to pay $5 for the stock, whereas everybody else has to pay whatever the market is. And let's say that the stock was $8 today. If you had the 5 call and the stock is $8, then the 5 call for you would be worth at least what? Well, it would be worth whatever the price of the stock is now, minus the strike of the call. So if stock was $8, if you own the 5 call, then that call is going to be worth at least $3 because you can buy the stock for $5 and sell it for $8 if you own the call, and that's a difference of $3. So that's the call, and that's the basics of how a call works. It allows you to buy the stock for whatever price the strike of the call is. So, for example, if I own one of these 15 calls here on the screen, let me move out of the way for a second. So if we look on the screen at the bottom here, there's the 15 strike as we go down. And you can see the market for the 15 call is 0 bid at 15 cents. So, and even the 14 call is 0 bid at 15 cents, 13 call, and so forth. Well, why is this call worthless? Well, the reason this call is worthless is because the right to buy the stock for $15, nobody wants that right because you can already go in the market and buy the stock for $5.77. So the right to buy it for $15, nobody needs that. It has no value. However, the right to buy the stock for say $3, well, stock's $5.72 right now. So the right to buy the stock for $3 has some serious value right now. So that's why the 3 call, it says 270 bid at 290, whereas the 15 call, no bid. Because once again, having the right to buy the stock for $15 is basically worthless because stock's only worth $5. However, maybe someday the stock will be worth $15 and this call will be worth something. So if we were to go way out in time, these May options expire in 39 days. So within 39 days, nobody thinks the stock's going to be worth $15. However, if we were to go out 280 days, well, there's an outside chance that the stock might get up to $15. So if we look at the call market, it shows a 15-cent bid for these calls. So there's a way outside chance that maybe this stock could get to $15 in the next 284 days. So basically what I'm hoping that you'll derive out of just this first lesson here is just if somebody pulls up an option screen, you can look and say, oh, okay, well, the options expire in this example, options expire 17 May 19 because I can see the expiration date in the screen. And then I know that these other numbers here, the strike prices, those are possible prices of the stock. And these are the prices that the different options represent. And then you can see on the left side, you can see are the markets for the calls. So, for example, the 5 call, the market is 95-cent bid at 115. The puts on the other side, we haven't discussed what the puts are yet, but you can see that the markets for the puts are on the other side, and they're somehow related to the calls and the stock also. Now, what we call, it's funny because call, two words for different things, but if an option is near the price of the stock, so for example, the 5 strike here, that's near the price of the stock. Stock's 572, so 5 is we call that at the money because it's near the price of the stock. So the 5 call, maybe the 6 call, they're both very near the price of the stock, so we would call these two at the money options. Okay. Now, any situation where the strike price is less than the price of the stock, so for example, the 5 call, the 4 call, the 3 call, the 2 call, the 1 call, any of these calls, we would call them in the money because their prices, their strike prices are lower than the price of the stock. So stock's 577, any strike below 577 would be in the money. So the 5 call in the money, 4 call in the money, 3 call in the money. Any calls with prices above the price of the stock, out of the money. So 6 call, it's close, but out of the money. You could also call the 6 call at the money. But, you know, at the money, like absolutely at the money would have to be to the penny, right? So the 6 call, you could call it out of the money because it's technically out of the money, but it's pretty much at the money too. But 7 call, out of the money. 8 call, out of the money. Now on expiration, the moment that these expire, they will be deemed either in the money or out of the money. There's no at the money when stuff expires, but while we're kind of in flux, anything that's close to the price of the stock we call at the money. So 5 call at the money, 6 call at the money. You might even call 7 call at the money if this stock's moving around a lot every day. If it's bouncing between 5 and 8 every day, then you might call the 7 call at the money. But when expiration happens, something is either in the money and it is converted into stock at the end when it expires, or out of the money and it's worthless. So so that's the other thing with options is that when on expiration day, any option that's actually lower than the price of the stock is going to get converted into the stock. So you have the right but not the obligation. As I said before, you can or cannot use this option to buy stock for $5, right? Anytime up till expiration. But if you don't tell them not to, when expiration comes, if this option is in the money, then it's automatically going to get turned into stock. So it's going to get exercised. What do you call if you were to say, all right now I want to turn this option into stock? Then you would exercise the option. You'd fill out a form, and you'd say, I want to turn this in for stock. And so you'd exercise the option, which allows you to buy the stock for $5. Now, you still have to pay the $5 for the stock. It doesn't just automatically, like, you get stock. You've got to pay the $5 for the stock. But when you do that, you'll be able to sell it at a higher price if stock's higher. So right now, if I were to exercise this call, I would say, I want to exercise this call. They say, okay, you have the right to buy the stock for $5. So you say, all right, I want to do it. So you'd exercise the call, and then you'd pay the $5 for the stock, and then you'd have the stock. Now, after you bought the stock for $5, you could go right away and sell it for $5.69 if you wanted to. However, people don't usually exercise options ahead of expiration because you can see right now the option is worth more than that 69 or that 79 cents in between, the difference between the strike price and the price of the stock. So you probably just hold on to the option. Instead of exercising it to capture that money, you probably just sell the option back out. And we don't usually see people exercising options before they expire. And I don't want to throw too much at you right now. So that is a little lesson on some stuff to do with options. And I know this is going to be boring for some people, but for others, I hope we can bring you up to speed. I know it's a kind of situation where, like, if you don't know about it, you might want to be like, you might be sort of embarrassed about it or you might just be totally comfortable with the fact that you just don't know about it. But in this way, I hope to teach people about it so you can get just a basic understanding of options. It's one of these things that it's not hard. It's just like, when you take algebra in school, or whatever sort of beginning math classes that you have in lower school, they're not hard. It's just that if you haven't done it before, you don't know about it. So that's the same thing with options. It's not hard. It's just that if you haven't done it before, you don't know about it. It's not automatically intuitive. And okay, so we'll go on and do more of these sort of classes in the future, and hopefully we can bring you up to speed, because options theory, in my opinion, should be something that everybody's taught in high school, just along with everything else, with math tables and everything else, because options are a great way to they're extremely useful in the market, in the stock trading world. It's like trading stocks by themselves is like playing checkers. Trading options is like playing chess, because with stocks, first of all, you're either like, it's going up or it's going down. With options, you can say, well, I think there's an 80% chance that it's going to be higher next week, and you can go in to the options market and you can make that bet if you want to. Or you can say, well, I think it's going to stick around 40 for the next 3 months, and then it's going to move higher. And if you have that opinion, you can place a bet on that specific idea using options. A lot of people think that options market makers are making a ton of money off people, and that trading options is not worthwhile because you lose so much money trying to execute your trades. And in certain stocks where nobody really trades options and there's very little orders, that can be true at times. There can be wide markets. But in most stocks, there are good tight markets, and it's nowadays more than any other time. It's the markets that are up there are pretty fair, and you don't see market makers making tons of money anymore these days, because the markets are tighter, things are fair, there's much more complete information for the public out there, and it's really a retail customer's dream, because the markets are generally pretty fair, and you can get in and make whatever kind of bets you want, and there is the ability to do that. So I would not be thinking that you're getting ripped off every time you come in and use options, because you can do the math yourself, and you can see, okay, what's the deal? If I pay the offer for this, how much? What kind of bet am I putting on? There's nothing hidden here. You can decide to pay the markets, or you cannot. There's no like secret somebody's sleight of hand type thing here. And generally, when you see a market like on the screen here behind me, for example, if we look at the behind me, if we go to the May 7 here, okay, May 7, the market is 15-cent bid at 30 cents for the May 7 call. Now, you can go in between the markets here, and if you say I'll pay 20 cents for this option, probably someone will sell you some right in the middle. And if you want to sell some for 20 cents, probably someone will sell you some right in the middle. When you're placing orders in these, you don't necessarily have to pay the offer or to hit the bid to trade them. You can 90% of the time you can trade stuff right in the middle, and you're going to be able to trade it. So because remember, there's people competing for your business here, whether it's buying it or sell it. And with options, if you're trying to buy a mortgage, or you're trying to do some other or you're trying to buy or sell some other product, people are not going to give you a two-sided market. They're going to say, oh, you want to buy a mortgage? This is what you have to pay. They're not going to tell you, oh, well, if you wanted to sell a mortgage, this is what you could sell it for. They're not going to give you a two-sided tight market like that. They're gonna give you one-sided market. They're gonna say, okay, are you a buyer or a seller? And when you say, well, I'm a buyer, they're gonna give you some price that they'll sell it at that's way in their favor. Options trading, you've got a tight market where the price they'll buy it for and the price they'll sell it for. There's not a whole lot of there's no smoke and mirrors there. If you buy something for, let's say this example, 15-cent bid at 30. Okay, you buy something for 20 cents or 25 cents. If you feel you've done the wrong thing and you come back in a couple of days and you want to sell it back out, you sell it back out. Maybe you lose 2 or 3 cents, but here's the market right there. It's published, it's out there, and it's tight. I don't know what more you can ask for from somebody than having a tight market that they're willing to do either side of it. So many other things in life, you can't get a two-sided market out of somebody. So that's just a little bit more on options. And we can continue talking more about this so you become more familiar with it, and we'll talk about puts more. But this options trade thing is an awesome thing. Let me give you just one more example. Let's look at Amazon for a second. Now, let's say I'm a normal person and I somehow managed to save up, I don't know, $2,000 to trade with. And I want to get into the financial markets. Okay? Well, what can I do with trading with $2,000? Amazon is trading $1,831. So normally, if I just was trading stocks and I wasn't dealing with options, well, okay, well, if I want to buy Amazon, well, I can buy one share with my $2,000, and I can wait around. Okay, I bought one share of Amazon. Oh, maybe I'll come back in 5 years, and hopefully it's gone up a little bit. It's like, I don't want to deal with Amazon. If I have $2,000, I'm gonna have to limit myself to, like, if I want to actually make some money, I'm gonna probably have to limit myself to like $3, $2, $5 stocks that have a chance of moving around a little bit, because I can't afford to buy more than one share of Amazon. However, here's where options come into play. I could, if I let's say I love Amazon, I think it's going to go up. Okay, instead of buying one share and hoping it goes up, okay, it goes up. It goes up, $2 on my one share. Okay, I made $2. I could trade options on it. I could sell a put spread. I could buy calls. I could buy some May call. Okay, stock's 1832. I could go out into May here and say, all right, I want to buy some of the May 2000. Let's see. I could buy a May call spread, and I could capture an up move in Amazon using options, and my $2,000 is going to go a lot farther than if I just buy the stock. The other thing with trading is, if I want to short something, and I know people say, well, shorting is un-American or something like that, which is ridiculous. But if I don't like the price of a stock and I think the company is worthless and I think it's going to go lower than it is, or it's overvalued, if I have a small account with, say, $2,000 in it, it's going to be very difficult for me to short a stock because they're going to want me to put a lot of money up. However, I can very easily go in, if I was trading options, and buy a put option, betting the stock's going to go down, and I could make my money go a lot farther and be able to make a lot more money with my $2,000 than if I was just trading stocks. And I'm going to end the options part of this right here because I don't want people to get too confused. So there's a little options theory right there. Let's go back to the market right now as we approach the open. And we're seeing right now E-minis down 4, NASDAQ down 13. Not a whole lot going on. Let's check news headlines, and we see that there's more. The Homeland Security Secretary has resigned. What's her name? Christian Nielsen resigned. And they're saying it's because she is not aggressive enough at the border. And I don't like Stephen Miller. I think he's like an evil, like racist guy, and I don't think that the president should have him in a position of power at all. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't want to get too political here. So we don't know if this Department of Homeland Security Secretary resigned because she was asked to, or she had a dispute with the president. But the speculation is that Stephen Miller is behind it and that he's looking for more aggressive policies at the border. Beyond that, there's still rumors of some sort of China deal. Obviously, the Mueller investigation was they released a memo, and now there's a struggle of when they're going to actually release the whole Mueller report. The president exonerated in the Mueller report. Then what other headlines? Greta Van Susteren to return to TV with new Sunday political show. There's a chart of who owns everything in big media. And looks like a pretty slow news day so far. So, all right. Check out the open, and I will see you on the flip side. Thanks for watching today, and we will be back at you shortly with more information. I do have a new pick for a calendar spread that I'm looking at right now, and I will let you know more about that as that situation develops. Thanks for watching the Short Vol Show today, and we are still in contango, and it's heavy contango, so look for UVXY and these others to continue lower unless there's some sort of spike, which there always could be. Thanks for watching today, and we will see you in the next one. And let's see if I can get my music to continue here. It's funny, I commissioned somebody to make this Michael Jackson music months ago before all the most recent Michael Jackson scandals, because like I said, I've always been such a fan.
They say why? Tell them that it's human nature. Why? Does it do me that way? If they say why? Tell them that it's human nature. Why? Does it do me that way?